it's me, Katie, and today I want to talk to you about how you sell your house by yourself without an agent. Okay, before I begin, I want to make sure that you go and like and subscribe to my page. I've got a lot of great content that's coming out. I do not want you to miss it. Okay, so let's talk about how you are going to sell your house without an agent. Now, of course I'm an agent, and of course I think you need an agent, but I am literally and actually and honestly going to tell you how to do that today. So first of all, let's talk about why do people sell their house by owner? Well, because obviously the money. It really is the money. I do get a lot of people who say, oh, I sold my house years and years ago by myself. I can do it again. The whole industry has changed. So if you first of all are thinking I can do this by myself because I've done it before, you need to stop, throw everything else away, and you need to just start fresh and listen to what I'm going to say about how you can do it this time, this year. So it can cost a lot of money to sell with an agent and then to pay out for a buyer's agent as well. It does cost quite a bit of money. And so many people think that they can just do it themselves and get all of that savings to themselves. The issue is that it's more than just the money. I want you to think about your stress. I want to think about the time that it takes for you to get ready, the uncertainty, and what if the deal falls through. There's more than just the money. A lot of people only think about the money, but I really want to tell you that if you are going to take this on yourself, you are going to have more stress. So I've sold over 600 homes, and every single deal I learn something new. I immerse myself in real estate every single day. And so when I'm working with people, I can see red flags that are happening. So the first thing you need to do is when you go into selling your house by owner, you need to be very aware that you don't know what you're doing. That's just the way it is. You just don't know as much as a real estate agent who's sold hundreds or thousands of homes. You just cannot know. So you have to be very aware to recognize, okay, I may not know exactly what I'm doing in this situation, but I'm going to spend the time, I'm going to do the research, and I'm going to figure it out. You can do it, but you're going to have to recognize that you may not really know what you're doing. So here are the things you need to do, non-negotiable, in order to sell your house by owner. You have got to get professional pictures taken. Non-negotiable. You have got to get those pictures taken. You are going to find a local company or a local person who does real estate photography. Not your mom's friend or not somebody who says, oh, I do portraits. No. You need to get a real estate photographer. And the reason why is because if you've ever been in any of these homes that we sell, we make these homes look fantastic. They're huge. They're clean. They're sparse. They're everything a buyer is looking for. And so you need to make sure that your pictures look like that. Wide angle lenses, high quality pictures, non-negotiable. So you also have to know the correct price. And I know you're gonna say, we wanna put a high price on it. I think I can get it myself. If you don't have the right price on it, you're not gonna get anybody looking. So if you're just going for a shot in the dark, great, go for it. But you've gotta make sure you have the right price on it. And the way you can get to the right price is a couple things. You can talk to an agent. You can do your own research on homes that are on the market in your area as well and what has actually sold. Stage the house. That's the next thing you really need to do. When I say stage, I don't necessarily mean bringing in all of this furniture, even though you may want to do that, but you've got to get the house show ready. It cannot be dirty. It has got to be bright and fresh and neutral. You've got to take down your pictures. You have to do everything that you would normally do if you were going to list your house, but you don't have any guidance from your real estate agent. You have to make sure your house looks great. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you write good copy. It's got to be good copy descriptive of the home. Sometimes I'll see some for sale by owner listings and they're just 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, updated kitchen. No, you've got to really go all in. So make sure that copy is good. I want you to look at your tax records as well, because as you get offers, people are going to start to make sure you know what your square footage is and your square footage in the tax records. Also, your taxes. You really do need to know what those taxes are when you go and list your house. Make sure you are fully aware of the background of your house. Okay, so now that we've talked about how to get your house ready, how are you going to promote this? What are you going to do? How are you going to get people into your house? Very particular on this is that if you do this wrong, this will cost you tens of thousands of dollars. I guarantee it. I've seen it. It happens. If you do this wrong, it will cost you money. And that is the point of listing by owner, so that you make more money. I'm going to tell you the recommended way I think that you should sell by owner, and literally that's just putting a sign in your yard. This is truly the best way to do it, because you're going to get somebody who's coming in, putting a sign in your yard, and then they're going to come in and then they're going to buy the house. So remember, your goal is to get the highest amount of money, but it's also to have the least amount of stress. Even though you might not have said it, I am telling you, get the highest amount of money, least amount of stress, put a sign in the yard and see how many people call you. And they may be willing to overpay at that point. You don't know. So go and put a sign in your yard. You're going to tell your friends and family about it. Now, here's the issue that you're going to start to have as you start to tell other people about having your house on the market. Typically, people who are selling by owner are still paying out to a buyer's agent if they bring an offer, which is great and that's fine. But the point is to make as much money as possible when you're selling by owner. So if you're willing to already pay half of the commission to a buyer's agent, you need to really think about how much money are you actually saving and how much work are you going to be doing. So the moment you push it out to your friends and family, what's going to happen is you are going to get people saying, oh, I'm interested, however, I have an agent. And then you're going to get agents calling you, oh, are you willing to pay a commission? And you're going to say most likely yes, because you've heard that's the way you can make more money. So now you are already at a disadvantage because the buyers are going to be represented and now you are not. So I want you to make sure you know how much more money you are going to make if you sell to friends and family who have an agent. It's really important because you want to sell by owner and you want to make as much money as possible. And by paying out to a buyer's agent, you are not making as much money as possible. But the reality is most people are working with agents and they will expect to be paid. So you need to decide what you're doing. If you choose not to pay out for buyer's agents, that's fine. However, you again are probably risking not having a qualified buyer coming to you who has been pre-approved, who has been looking. This agent knows them. Don't underestimate the power of an agent who has a client ready to go. So I know this idea is something you're going to have to think about is how much are you actually saving if you agree to pay out for a buyer's agent. You can also make sure you post it on social media and you'll get people reaching out. Now you are going to get a ton of people reaching out. You're going to get a ton of tire kickers reaching out to you. I promise you. And they're going to say, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And they're going to come to you and they're not going to have been pre-approved. They're going to say, oh, I need to sell my house in order to buy your house. And even then that can be really painful because now you're showing your house to multiple people who are not approved. The benefit of having an agent work with a buyer is that they typically are not wasting their time. So they typically are going to make sure that buyer is pre-approved. When you just post something on social media and you take any showing, you have no idea how far they are along in the process. And most people who do not have an agent have no idea how hard it is to buy a home. They don't know you need to get pre-approved. They don't understand their finances. And then they're going to hold you up because you're going to be saying, oh, I have somebody who might be interested. I might be able to save the commission. But they're holding you up and you're going to go back and forth with them because you think, I'm going to save that money. I'm going to save that money. And then they're either not a real buyer, they can't get their mortgage, or they just change their mind. That's why it is beneficial to work with somebody who has an agent. But then again, you're going to be paying out a commission to that agent. So catch 22 there. So the next thing I think you can do is you can put your listing on Zillow and you're going to make sure you have those great pictures and you're going to make sure you fill everything out and you're going to have that copy. And what's going to happen is you are going to get 1,000 calls from real estate agents who want their listing. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to tell you a secret. Many agents are going to call you and say they have a buyer. Can they come and see your home? And you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to pay out to the buyer's agent, if they bring somebody, and then you let them in and then they try and get your listing and they don't actually have a buyer. I know, I hate to even say this out loud because this is just not a cool way for agents to do business. However, if you are putting your listing on Zillow and an agent calls you and says they have a buyer, you need to vet them out more before you let them come to your house. Now, I'm not saying the agents are bad, they're doing their job, but don't believe an agent who just says they have a buyer and they're going to sell it to their clients. It may just be a way for them to get their feet in the door. But with that being said, Zillow is the only way I recommend pushing out your listing. People are going to say to me now, what about putting it in the MLS with a discount brokerage where I'm paying out the commission and I have a flat fee brokerage? Maybe it's $250, maybe it's $500, and you're still doing all the negotiating. So you can put your home into the MLS with a discount brokerage where you're doing all of the work. It is still really a for sale by owner. Agents are requested to call the seller when they want to see the house. So it is, yes, it is a for sale by owner. You're not being represented necessarily by those people who took your listing. So in the MLS, I do not recommend doing this. Hear me again. I do not recommend doing this. And what I'm going to tell you is so important because it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars and you can't make up for this mistake. If you put a sign in your yard and you don't sell it, you're fine. If you post it on social media and you don't sell it, you're fine. If you put it in the MLS and you don't sell your house, it's a problem. And the reason it's a problem is because you have lost that excitement and that energy that comes if you've done it wrong. If you've put the wrong price on it, if your pictures aren't good, if your copy isn't good, if it isn't marketed the right way, you have lost that excitement. That is why I really don't recommend you put it into the MLS as a for sale by owner. The other thing is that agents see that and they know they are going to have to work both sides of the transaction. And they know it is difficult to work without agents. It's much harder as agents for us to work with the sellers of a home. I've done it, and you end up doing double the work. And the issue that comes into play is the sellers now think they're telling me as their agent, but I am actually working for the buyer's agent. So the sellers are in a real disadvantage because they are not being represented. I mean, this is throwing the sellers to the sharks in front of all these agents. It can be very difficult. So if you put it into the MLS as a for sale by owner, the best way to do it is to really put a low price on it, and then it will be pushed up to the top. If your price is too high and if your pictures are not good, I am telling you again, I'm begging you, spend the $150 on good pictures. If your pictures are not good, you will not get showings. The other issue about putting it into the MLS by owner is showings. Showings are difficult. However, as a for sale by owner, you are going to want to accompany every single showing. As an agent, when we put it in the computer, we expect that our owners will leave and they are represented by agents. So now when you put it in as a seller, you are going to have to be there for every showing, and you will limit your showings. And if you don't allow access to your house for showings, you can't sell it. And there's so many for sale by owners that I have worked with that don't get us in the door. They have work, they're on a conference call, they're out of town. That will hinder your chances of selling your house. I'm trying to really tell you the truth here and be honest with you, but there are so many risks that go along with this. With that being said, if you can stick a sign in the ground and you can sell it by yourself without all of this and all this stress, and you're not paying out a buyer's agent, yeah, it could be worth it. If you are paying out a buyer's agent, you need to remember you are not making as much money as you could as a regular for sale by owner, and that is the reason that you are selling by owner. The other thing that could really come into play with for sale by owner is multiple offers. I will tell you, I hate multiple offers. If you are in a hot market, it's really going to be very difficult for you as the seller to negotiate multiple offers. You don't have the experience to see those red flags as they come up when offers are being written. As an agent, I get a contract, I see those red flags. I know how the agents have communicated with me. I know the questions they've asked. I've seen the pre-approval letter. I know the agent. So you have to recognize that that is going to be a very complicated and difficult process for you. And yes, in the end, you may make more money, but now you've got the added stress of selling the house yourself. It's a stress price thing. How much stress are you willing to have, and how much money do you need to make? Getting an offer is actually not the hard part. It's getting to closing that's the hard part. And this is what has changed from people from years and years and years ago. The buyers nowadays are just difficult. And when I say difficult, the buyers just want what they want. And if they don't get what they want, they're just going to walk away. As a seller, there are very few ramifications that you can give to your buyer for them to walk away. They will keep their earnest money and you will be off the market. And now you have extended your process, and now you're creating more stress for yourself. So getting through the inspection and the negotiation of the inspection and the details of the contract can be super, super painful. I've had so many deals fall through in inspection. I've probably had a couple thousand deals fall through during the inspection period after you've gotten the contract together. And that is not an exaggeration. So getting from contract to closing can be the most difficult part of this process. If you are still moving forward and you're going to sell by owner, you can do it. If you're in an attorney state, you need an attorney. Otherwise, you're going to have to be working with the title company and the other agent to negotiate out these inspections. It can be very difficult. Many people who have successfully sold their homes by owner before, this is where they say, we should have just hired an agent. It can be done. And remember what I said in the very beginning of this video. Going into the for sale by owner process, you have to be aware that you do not know what you're doing. I hate to say it, you just don't know. And the reason why is because you don't have the experience in understanding how buyers work, how agents work, how mortgage companies work, the contracts. So you can do it. I know you can do this if you really want to, but I just want you to understand what the risks are if you do choose to do it. Let's pretend you put your sign in the yard, you send an email out to your friends and family, and you decide you can't sell it, and you're going to list with an agent. You may have met a few people that said they're interested and they don't have agents and you'd like to sell to them. So then you go to your agent and you say, will you allow an exception to your contract? Meaning if any of those people buy the house, then there is no commission due. Now, agents hate to hear this because they're paying for pictures, they are staging, they're putting out all the resources, they're getting ready to go. So they're putting it out. And if you say, by the way, if I bring this person back into the deal, I'm not going to pay you a commission. Let me tell you about exceptions. If you have somebody who is on the fence about buying your house, I want you to go to that person and say, you have 1 week in order to buy my house, otherwise I am listing it. And that way you're going to get them to make a move. You tell them they have to have the decision right now. And they're gonna say, oh, we can't do it. I will tell you, most buyers who are real buyers are going to pull the trigger. So you're going to know right then and there. You're not gonna be holding out hope that 3 weeks from that point, that person's gonna come so you can save some money. It just is not necessarily going to happen. Buyers will string you along as long as possible when you are for sale by owner. And here is the most important thing about this video. Going back to what I said in the beginning. The reason you are selling by owner is to make the most amount of money. Absolutely. That is the reason you are doing this. So now buyers are going to say, oh, they're selling by owner. We can write a lower offer. And you're going to say, oh, we don't have anything else right now. Maybe we should just accept it and be done and over. Because now by this point, you are tired and you are done. The only reason to list your house by owner is to make more money. And if you are taking a lower price, then you are not making that money and you're doing all the work. Selling a house is hard work, yes. And if you go by owner, you are going to find out it is a lot of work. But do not accept an offer that's lower because you don't have an agent. That is your win. That is not the buyer's win. And I see so many buyers coming in saying we're going to be able to get a discount because they're not using an agent. Do not fall for it. Hold firm on your price and know that if you do not use an agent, it is your goal to make more money, not to let the buyers pay less money than the house is worth. And I see that so often. I know I've given you a lot of advice that you might think, boy, she really thinks I shouldn't list by owner, because there are a lot of risks. There are a lot of risks if you list by owner. Yes, there are. However, if you can do it easy and simple without the stress and you can make more money than you would make otherwise, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. If you want to reach out to me and ask me any questions about selling your home by owner, I will absolutely tell you how to do it, what to do. I hope this video has been helpful. If you are still here at the end of this video, that means that you should like and subscribe to my channel. I would love to make sure that you do not miss a single video, and make sure you go down there and comment. Give me some comments. If you have a question or anything, text me. My cell phone is right there in the comments. Set an appointment. I'm more than happy to help you sell your house by owner. Thanks for watching. If you know, you know.